Hi, my name is Drew, and you're watching ReadyBudgetGo. If we haven't met before, welcome. I'm glad you found your way here. And if this isn't your first visit, welcome back. It's good to see you again. This is the weekly reel, where I share my real budget numbers, my real successes, and my real mistakes. And this week, I spent a ton of money. It's time to come clean. Let's get started with the weekly cash dump. And I promise you, this is going to be the best part of the video. It's all downhill from here as far as what I did with my money this last week. So this cash dump part is going to be real short because I didn't spend any money. So I have no change. This is for next week. And then from this week, I still have the same $50 that I gave myself at the start of the week. So 20, 40, and 50. This money is going to go into here for the end of the month. So far, of the money that I have given myself, I have not spent 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 100, 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. $126. That's not bad. For November, I have 5 Fridays, and so I gave myself $250 for the month. So half of it, more than half, is in here. And I still have $50 left to give myself for the final week in November. Now, November is one of those months where we get a Friday very late in the month. So I'm going to be pulling in several days in December into the November budget as far as expenses go. And I'll explain that in more detail as we go along. So for next week, I have 20, 5, 30, 5, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $50. That is going in here. That will be for my weekly cash spending. And I am going to try not to spend any of it. I need to save as much cash as I can and as much money as I can because, oh boy, when we get to the budget, it is going to be brutal. So let me set all of this aside. I know I didn't talk about this. This just holds the spare change. And because I didn't spend any money this week, I don't have anything to put in there. Okay, so those are going away. And now let's get into the budget and hold on to your horses because it's a doozy. So, first of all, I did get my second paycheck in November, so that was deposited. That's good. Because Friday is, I mean, it's not a holiday, but, whatever. It was deposited sometime between last night and this morning. I'm recording this on Thanksgiving Day. I still don't have my monthly salary reimbursement. I have a feeling that's not going to show up until next week, which is fine. I'll just carry it over like I have to do sometimes. I didn't get it submitted. I have to submit it every single month, and I didn't get it submitted until late last week. So it is what it is. And then in terms of bills, I had Just Visible come in. That is my cell phone service, $35 as expected. And now the wallet spend, $706.12. Oh, baby. I gave myself $1,000 for the whole month, and I spent 70% of it in 1 week. I will explain how this breaks down, and this isn't even all of it, and I'll talk more about that later. In terms of stockpiles, $507 went toward my 2 stockpiles that I'm working on. One is travel, the other is the big move. $307 went to the big move, and $200 went to travel, and I'll show a breakdown of that when we get to the savings section. But for now, that's it for here, so let's move on to cash flow. And this cash flow tracker is more or less a check register for me. So this is everything that comes into and goes out of my checking account. And this week, only 2 transactions. On the deposit side, the paycheck came in. And on the withdrawal side, the transfer to my high yield savings account for my stockpiles went out. So that was it for cash flow. And now let's talk about expenses. So by far the biggest spending week, not just in terms of the amount, but also in the number of transactions. So on the 21st, a couple of transactions, DoorDash and McDonald's. I had 2 in-office days last week, and those are always brutal on the budget. Apple, $44. I'm not doing that again. I gave up the game that I so enjoyed for several reasons, but shouldn't have more. There will be 1 more set of transactions that will come in next week, and then that should be done. DoorDash, on the 22nd, Target on the 23rd. This is household and food, $137. So I needed more. I mean, everything kind of ran out at once. You know how it goes. Body wash, toilet paper, paper towels. I needed a brand new broom, and that really added up. So some of this is food, but the food amount here is like $30. The rest of it is household. And oh my gosh, the prices. Um, so I needed a new broom, and that was $20. And I'm like, wow, for a broom? You used to be able to get one of those for $4 or $5, but not anymore. So that really pushed that up. So that came in, and I will have a sinking fund next year for households so that those surprises are more easy to absorb when they do come in all at once. When it's just one or two things here and there, I just put it into the food category. But there are times when a whole bunch of things conspire and run out at the same time. Next, Costco, $277.20. Now, this is for Christmas, and essentially, I am borrowing against future money that is not yet deposited. So, this is the money that the cash that I was going to have left over at the end of this month, but I don't have it yet. Well, I kind of do. And let me go back to the budget real quick. So we'll pick up here in a minute, but going back to the budget overview, so I didn't have to pay for this doctor office visit this month. I will have to pay for it probably next month, maybe January, so it's still coming, but that freed up the cash flow. And I also left myself a huge buffer. So between the doctor office visit and the remainder, I have almost $1,000 to play around with. Now, it wasn't my intention to spend all that money, and I didn't spend all of it, but I did spend some of it. So I'm okay here. Also, I won't be traveling for Christmas, I don't think, or at least I'm not going to fly for Christmas. I'm not going to fly far for Christmas. I keep having to hedge that. I may still make a trip locally. I might go down to Portland or something like that, but I'm not going to the Midwest or anywhere far away like that. So if shove comes to shove harder, I will transfer money from the travel fund back into my checking account. But according to my budget, I should be okay here with all these overages. On the 24th, Fred Meyer for food, $82. This was Thanksgiving supplies. I am having a solo Thanksgiving this year, and I wanted to have a feast, so I bought feast supplies. Then on the 24th, also Thriftway for food. There were some things that Fred Meyer didn't have, so I went to Thriftway and got those, $15. McDonald's on the 25th, DoorDash on the 26th, and then we have the weekly cash. So all told, that goes over $700. Now, let me go back to the budget and prove out these numbers. So let me get out the calculator. And I don't normally use a calculator with my left hand, so hopefully I don't screw up here. But so in income so far, excuse me, I've received $59.94, right? Because I got both of these, but I didn't get that cell reimbursement yet. So that's in the positive column. Bills came out to $2,069. And then for my wallet spending so far, $273.30, $284, and $706.12. And then $2,057 going to my stockpiles. And that still leaves me with $604.58. So I could spend almost as much this next week as I did this week and still be okay. So I'm not too worried about it. It'll be there as a buffer. I have planned my December budget without a carryover. Let me go into that real quick. So I didn't bring in that $500 that I'm not spending here into my December budget. So I did plan for all of these big expenses here, and that's why the total is so high. But I didn't say I was going to bring cash in from November, so should be okay. All right. So going back to, let's see, I think, did we finish expenses? Yeah, we finished expenses. Okay, and just that weekly cash, I always count it as $50, whether I spend it or not, because once it's out of my checking account, I consider it a sunk cost. So I don't deduct that $50 from what I spent this week. All right, so that is it for the weekly spending and stockpiling. So now let's talk about savings. And let me flip over to the Roth IRA first, because we do have the new Sloth IRA ready. So this was this year's. right? And that is fully funded. That's been fully funded for a while. This is next year's. And this one is the one for the catch-up contribution. So if you were age 50 or over, you can put away up to $8,600 in your Roth IRA or a regular IRA. But if you are like me and you have not yet reached your 50th birthday, it is going to be $7,500. So that is what I will be contributing to my Roth IRA in 2026. At least that is my plan. And so each one of these slots counts as $100. And as you put money into your Roth IRA or your IRA, you just cross them off. Or I use a stamp. And so we've got all kinds of different sloths here. And then down at the end, we've got one that's farting, which I think is hilarious. So for the tracker, I will probably use the same sheet just because it has another side. So this was the 2025, and I'll just do the 2026 over here. Other savings, let's see, I need to go backward here. So in terms of subscribers, we got several more new subscribers. Thank you to all of you who have joined. Welcome. So I colored in the next circle here for 720 because that was the last milestone. I haven't yet made the transfer, so I will do that. In fact, the transfer is in process, but because of the holiday, it's taking a couple extra days. So as soon as that hits my high yield savings account, I will put it in the account for the big move. And I'll pop up a picture now of what my account currently looks like with all of the different buckets. So you can see that the big move for subscribers has $35.50 currently, which is what is recorded here. As soon as I get that $50 in, that'll move up to $3,600. And then for the other savings that I do for the big move, which is on Monday, Ready Budget Game. On Tuesday, the, what am I trying to say? Savings challenges in the Batman binder and celebration savings. And on Wednesday, the paint by sticker for the My Money relaunch. All of that money goes into travel and into the big move for books. So this week I transferred $307, and so that brought it up to $51.25. I also put $200 into the travel fund, and that brought it up to $1,200. I don't track that travel fund because that is a sinking fund, slush fund. I mean, money goes in, and eventually money is going to come out. So I'm not. It's not like a savings account or a stockpile where I'm saving it up for a singular purpose. It is, like I say, a slush fund. So that is it for the week for my spending, a lot of spending, and my saving. And so starting next month, that savings amount will be a little bit smaller. I've talked about that in my budgeting video from December and in some of my savings videos that go up on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. So last thing I'll mention is that it is Black Friday, and I do have a sale going on my Etsy shop. All items are 30% off. That includes digital downloads, that includes physical products, and you don't need a coupon code. It's just taken off automatically. And I've also launched my Ko-fi shop. I put up a video on Thanksgiving Day talking about that. So if you haven't seen that video yet, go back and watch it. If you're watching this video on Friday, it should link automatically at the end. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a thumbs up. Drop me a comment down below so I know you were here. And until I see you in the next one, take care.